Alright y'all, welcome back, it's Albert LaBelle, and this time around we're going to check out another Lishi 2-in-1. This one is the HU66, looks like it's the version 3. Now this one is $55.99 at time of purchase. This one here we're gonna check out a Volkswagen Jetta or Beetle ignition with this one here. But this is another product from the Lockpick Mall, lockpickmall.com. Alright, so thank you to them for sending this bad boy over. So what does it come with? This is another one of those that comes with these, what they call test keys, okay? So after you know, these 2-in-1s are literally 2-in-1s. They're a pick and decoder. Now I've shown these before, and the last time I did one where I actually cut a key, a couple of the comments were as such where maybe I didn't explain how I decoded it that well, so I'm going to try to do this one as clear as I possibly can. So this may be a little bit of a lengthy video, but I don't want to leave any specifics out, so I'll try to keep it short and explain as much as I can in detail. Okay, so we'll work it out. So yeah, as you can see here, I actually already used it one time and cut a test key. There are my cut keys. This one is the front. I marked it with an F, and that one goes on the back. So what you do is you sandwich these over like this, and they put these half shears in there, so you just literally click them into place like so. And although these move around, once you shove it in the lock itself will keep these where they need to be, so it doesn't matter. I thought I might have to put something in that hole, but it turns out you don't have to. So any hoodles, let's get this out of the way for a minute here and bring in the ignition lock. Ta-da! Already got it set up in a vise here, right there. So hopefully that'll work right there. So yeah, this is again a Volkswagen Jetta. I think the Beetle uses the same one, the same ignition. I had to use this here to keep a button on the side of the ignition from being pushed in, so just ignore this little dude. But there's the ignition. Here are the keys. It is a slider type lock, obviously. Alright. Just like that. Okay, so that is a brand new ignition, by the way. Untouched. Alright, so let's see how we can do this. First of all, we're going to take the Lishi 2-in-1 and insert it all the way in the lock, and we're going to pick it first. Okay, so all the way in. Make sure we're all the way in the lock. Alright, so make sure we're all the way in there. Alright, first thing we want to do is pick the lock, so that's what I'm going to do first. Alright, we're just going to walk through. I'm picking the back first, by the way. There's a front and a back, okay? The back ones use the numbers on the top side. The front one uses the numbers on the bottom side over here, okay? Nice click there. We just went into a partial set already. So I'm going to switch to the bottom. And a tiny click there. We just opened that. We just turned that ignition. That easy. Alright, so now to decode these, you have to have the lock picked in the open position, okay? So it's open now. So what I'm going to do so we can see these numbers good is I'm going to rotate this entire ignition here. I'll rotate it. Hopefully enough so we can see the numbers. Something's stopping me here. Oh, it's this plastic deal. Alright. Alright, so hopefully we can see the numbers good now. I will bring the camera in. Okay, so we're still picked. Let me bring it up. Alright, so now we'll bring the camera in on these numbers over here, okay? Because that's what we want to dial in on now. The numbers here on the top and the numbers here on the bottom. Alright, so let me grab my other glasses here. Okay, so how to decode it. First of all, this is the one that I decoded already, okay? So the numbers on the top here, let me grab a pointer. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the top. 8 being over here, 1 being over here. Alright? So that's how I wrote it down. So here's the numbers I came up with when I did it the first time. So we're going to redo this, okay? So I'll rewrite a new one. Let me grab my pad right here and a pen. So first I'm going to put the 8 through 1 on the top. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so this is what we're going to start with. Alright? And we're going to need a front and back, so I'm going to put a little F over here and a B over there. Alright? So for the front, this front tool right here, we're going to start with the 8 on this end. Alright? So what we have on the front is a front is a 4. Let me write down a 4. And you're just going to let the tool relax. Don't push on it. Don't do anything to it. Let it just go where it needs to go. So that's a 0. That seems to be a 2, right? Because we're looking at the numbers over here, okay? See these numbers on the right? That's what we're paying attention to. So this one here is a 2. Next position, 0. Next position is, looks to be another 4. I'm going to use a 4 there. Next position is a 0. Sorry, we were here. Where? Forgot where I was. Where's the 0? Right there. Zero, 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so I wrote that a little crooked, so it was throwing me off. I didn't have the numbers going straight down. Alright, so for the front we got 4020, 4040. Okay, now we're going to do the back. So the back, we're going to pay attention to that finger, okay, on this part. So we're going to start with the 8 on this end and work our way to the 1. And we're going to pay attention to these numbers over here on the right. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright, so let's start. That one is a 0. That one is a 2. That one is a 0. That one is a, if I could see it better, that looks like a 3. That's a 3. Another 0. That one looks like another 3 or a 2. Nope, that's a 3. Another 0. See, 0 is when it's either a 1 or a less, okay? This one is another, that's a 4. Okay, so we just decoded this lock, all right? And what we came up with, let me back this out just a tad. What we came up with is for the front pick right here, we came up with 4020 4040, okay? And the back tool 02030304. All right, for this particular lock, this is the cuts, okay? Decoding it with the Lishi. So, how do we take this and turn it into a working key? Well, that's step 2. So, let's get this out of here. Lock it back up. We don't need the decoder anymore. And we don't need this anymore. Okay, so now we're going to bring you down here. Okay, now I'll show you where the magic happens here. Hopefully. Alright, so now we have the code here. Tell you what, let's take that off there. Alright, now we have the code that we need to make a key with. So we're going to we need 2 of these because we have a front and a back. Okay, so I'm going to grab 2 of these off of here. And again, I mentioned this before with these test keys, they call them. Keep these flat as you possibly can, okay, when you store them. You'll appreciate that, you know, as you use them. Keep them flat. Okay, so that's the code, and we're going to need this centerpiece because, again, the way these are made, the way they made these test keys, so you have a front piece and a back piece. There's also this center piece, okay? Because if you look at the keys, they're really thick, okay? And they have this front part, which is cut here, and the back part, which is cut, okay? So basically, this is just the center blade on this key. The parts we're cutting are these little pieces to go right here and right here, okay? That's what we're going to cut and place onto this centerpiece. So how do we do that? Well, with another Lishi tool, y'all, okay? The awesome Lishi key cutter, okay? If you don't have one of these yet, and you cut any keys at all, you need to get one, all right? Now, it's not no match for a machine, okay? It's not like that, but it's a great handheld key cutter. Fantastic tool. All right, so how are we going to cut test keys using these numbers? Well, they made it as easy as it possibly can. Hopefully I can zoom in enough to show you this. Okay, so they put these lines on these, what they call, okay, test keys. I didn't name them. All right, so obviously we have the spacers, or the spaces, okay? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you remember when we were decoding, pay attention to that. The 8 is at the end of the key here. The 1 will be over here at the key bow, or at the key shoulder. Okay, so keep that in mind. And the cuts, okay, so the 4, let's say, so the 4 is the highest number, 0 is the lowest. So a 0 on this, a 1 or less is no cut to this. If you notice, there's only 3 lines on here. So 1 or less is no cut. A 2, you cut to that first depth line. A 3, you cut to the second depth line. A 4 is all the way to that last line right there. Okay? That's how simple this is. and I'll show you. All right, so for this front blade, maybe I can mark this somehow. Let me grab a marker. I don't know if it'll stay on there. We'll just put some black in here. Remember, this black one is the front, okay? Okay, so for the front, we want 40204040. This way. So the end of the key on the 1, I'm going to cut a 4 cut. So that's the 3rd line. Pardon me while I try to work around the camera too, okay? I do apologize. I'm trying to see around it. Alright, so remember I said a 4 is that 3rd line in, okay? And make sure this line on your cutter is lined up with the spaces, the space lines. Very critical, okay? So 4, 0, no cut. Then we need a 2, which is the 1st line. Whoops, sorry, 402. Yeah, 402. Zero 4. Zero 40. So 0 40. So there we have this here is now cut to 40204040. You see that? Now we need to do the back one. Okay? So we got the front marked with the black. Now we're going to cut the back one. These numbers on the bottom. So I'm going to repeat. Now we need 0. I'll do a couple at a time. 0, 2, 0, 3. All right. So 0 is no cut. Okay. 0, 2 is the 1st line. 2, 0, 3, which is the 2nd line. 0304. 03. 04. Now we have the back one cut to these specs. 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 4. Okay? Now we have the front blade. Hopefully we didn't bend it too much using those cutters. Now what we do is take that center piece, okay, the half shears, click it in place. Nice and flat. Back one. Just click it in place. Now if we did it right, we just made a working key for that ignition. Let's find out. Let's put that here for a minute. I want to keep everything in the camera if I can. I gotta set that down. Jeez. Let's back up. Alright. Grab our key again. Remember, we got the front blade there and the back blade on the back. Now we'll see if we did it good. If we can get it in there. had this problem with the first one. What I did on the first one is I used vice grips to hold it together. So I don't know if I'm going to need to do that. Tell you what, let me grab the vice grips. Where are they? Right here. Nothing ever works when the camera's on, right? Am I right about that? Alright. There we go. That should hold it together for me so I don't have to pinch it that hard. There we go. See that? There's a working key for that ignition. The reason it's so hard to push in is because all you got to do if you wanted to, but you can see it works. If you wanted to, all you got to do is, since we had some very deep cuts and some shallows, what you can do is just kind of smooth it out with a light piece of sandpaper, and that sucker will slide right in there, okay? But as you can see, some of these, actually it's probably this causing the problem. We got really deep cut and we got a high slope. So if you were to smooth that out some, but you don't need to, all you're trying to do with this key is get that ignition to turn. And as you can see, it works like a charm. Alright, so that is how you use the Lishi 2-in-1 to decode and make a working key for a Volkswagen ignition in this case. But it's that easy, folks. I mean, they couldn't have made it any easier with these test keys, putting the scribe lines on there for you. They've got the space lines on there for you, okay? And you pick up one of these right here, and that's all you need. You need the Lishi 2-in-1 and some kind of nipper or a key cutter, and you got it. It's that simple. I don't know how they could have made this any easier. All right? It's just flawless. The first one that I made from this, which is right here, worked like a charm. No practice. The first one. All right? So you can do it. All right? So that's it. That is the, which one again? Sorry. The Lishi HU66 version 3 from the Lockpick Mall. All right, so thank them again for sending it in, and thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope that explained a lot for you, how I go about doing the decode, okay? Just keep your front and back noted. If you have to, put a little mark on the key so you know which one's the front and back, and that should smooth you out. All right, hope that helps. Please let me know in the comments if I left anything out. Maybe I can add it to the next video. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd highly appreciate it. Your feedback is mucho importante. All right, it's very important to me. So thank you very much. That'll wrap it up. And remember, if you're not subscribed yet, you need to do so because all the cool people are doing it. And heck, you don't want to be left out, do you? I don't think so. Thank you.